I was reviewing the footage of the video, and I always had that one question: how far is the plunger rod down on a bird of prey before the dart is fired? Well, this is the moment right here, right before the plunger rod hits. It's at the tail end of 34 seconds. Now, as a reference, let me show you something. You got to understand that on one of my bird of preys, the plunger rod is all the way to the back. Okay, you see that? Now, why is it all the way to the back on a bird of prey? Well, one, it expands your draw to the maximum, and two, it becomes more like a crankcase in an engine. The head of the piston no longer is your limiter. Your limiter is the crankcase. Well, if you do that on the base of your piston rod, just like you think of this as a piston rod, well, that creates a issue where you're no longer hitting your head. Your head is no longer the limiter, and the blaster has more durability. This is why you see these babies around for a while. This shell is about 3 years old. Yeah. Oh, okay, 2.5 years old. 2.5 years old. It's been fiberglassed over. It is on its last legs, but it still fires beautifully. The Valkyrie fires beautifully. It's got 4 layers of fiberglass here, 3 here. It's beautiful. Okay. The new bird of prey A has three layers of fiberglass on top, and it's made to interlock into the tube rather than having a piece of ABS there. Okay. So what we're talking about here are fundamental blaster design ideals, and the fundamentals of these are very, very important. Now, you may notice it is slightly out, maybe 4 millimeters, 5 millimeters out, maybe 6. Okay, I can't really tell from this video, but I can tell it's very slightly out, but it's not all the way. So when I hit play, you're going to see us go down very slightly, but then the dart go out. This means that most of my air in here is all in there. It's not completely and totally, but I can tell that the air is at full compression, and that most of the air is in this barrel. And that is pretty fundamental design. It's not all in here. Now, if it was all in here when you fired it, this would slam against my internals. It would make the whole thing vibrate before the dart leaves, and it would make it more inaccurate. So I did before make the bird of prey so that this hit all the way and then fired. The problem is that it makes it more inaccurate, unpredictable, because then you're vibrating the whole blaster before the dart actually goes out. And this is mere milliseconds, but that's enough to throw off your aim. It is. So the best thing to do is have very little air here, so your plunger head is still riding a cushion of air. However, it is still charging the barrel. So here we are. We're going to hit it. We're going to hit play. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. Right then. Right then. You see it? You see it? There it is. Right there. So you can see the first little part where it's there. Okay. So let's hit that again. You'll see this plunger rod go down very slightly and the dart fly out. Yeah. Yeah. So, just to show you that this isn't to work, let's go back to about 32 seconds, where the plunger rod is all the way back, before the trigger is even engaged. And we're talking about 1/64th of a second each frame is. Okay? So every time you see a dart move, that's a 64th of a second. Very tiny amount of time. But, you know, you would think that a fluid slow-mo should be more valuable. In actuality, no. This is actually more valuable because it tells me in the time period how fast it's going and what it's doing every 64th of a second. So I actually use this to research my ballistics of my blasters. So here we are from the very beginning, and I'll show you streak across this whole place. Watch this. Watch this. You see it streaking across the whole block, and at the very end you're going to hear this little noise where it actually hits the house. There it is. You can see the jewel loss, how long it took to get there. Watch. That was it. That was the sound. Yeah. So, and anywho, that is how it's formulated. That's how it's done. A lot of research has been done. I mean, I did actually pull a full engagement on this before with the 40 kilogram. And the biggest problem I had with the 40 kilogram configuration of the bird of prey was that this was all the way down when it fired, and what happened was it caused it to vibrate. It caused it to be a little more inaccurate. So for Armageddon, I went to 3 springs and 30 kilograms, made it slightly lighter, because you still need this little bit of air here. I'm talking the plunger's probably about right here, yeah, and the end's right there. So we're talking very little distance, but it's just enough that your firing hardware is on a cushion of air, and thus does not influence the shot. So until next time, this is Chris Cartea saying, don't you go changing, or I'll find you. And look at this can. This can found me. Look what happened, yeah.